Have you ever noticed how some stories move at lightning speed? Others move like they're stuck in traffic? Same country, same people. It just depends on who the story makes look good.
Hello, President Trump. I would like to ask you to please release my dad from prison. I know that he made a huge mistake, and he really looks back on his mistake and regrets it, and I feel like he'll never do it again. My dad's been in my life ever since I was young. We have a great relationship. He's been helping me every step of the way. He helps me and my friends. He taught me right from wrong. He does a lot for me that some parents don't even do, and he's incarcerated. So I would just please want you to release my father from prison. Thank you.
This moment was 16 years in the making. Charles Duke Tanner embracing his 18-year-old son.
What, man? What? President Trump, I just want to thank you for giving me a second chance and believing in me and reading my petition. I'm just so thankful. It's just 20 years ago, I fought at the Trump Casino, and now you signed to give me clemency. First, I didn't know it was real until I was able to touch this little guy right here. I left him when he was 2 years old, President Trump. You reunited me back to my family. I lost my mother and my father, but I got him. And this is what I live for. Thank you, President Trump. Thank you so much from the bottom of my heart.
Own gas station in your
into the Great White Hope, pardon you, Donald
that
Trump.
him, the racist.
I know.
Pardon an old, poor little black woman like me so I can reclaim my life and start over again. Not only did he give me a full and unconditional pardon, but he also made it illegal for them to chain women to the bed during childbirth. And then he passed the First Step Act. And then I walked in a list of 100 names of people that needed to be freed, and he freed several of those people before he left office. And these people are trying to convince me that I'm supposed to vote for the black woman who locked everybody up instead of the white man who freed everybody.
What a mess.
A mess.
Now, that right there, that's not politics. That's real life. Families getting people back. Kids getting their fathers back. Wives getting their husbands back. And notice what you don't hear in that clip, right? No emotional manipulation is happening right there, right? Just gratitude. Now, here's the part they don't like talking about. When something actually helps people, tangibly, at that, it doesn't need a marketing campaign. It just spreads. But when your entire brand is built on telling people they're victims, like the Democrats do, you can't exactly promote stories like that show the opposite. You know what I mean? So what happens? These stories get buried, and the narrative keeps moving like nothing happened. But here's where here's where it starts to shift.
Every single person in this room is maybe 1 degree removed from someone who is a black immigrant and someone who at some point in their life had a visa status that was a little wonky.
Full of shit.
They are stooping to all types of levels to try to bring us into their bullshit, aren't they? Yeah, they're trying to make us be their defenders. Using a lot of black American like armor in your conversation without it pertaining to anything to do with black Americans. This was a clip. The full video is on YouTube. Tim Black Show.
Make sure y'all go follow Tim Black Show on YouTube.
Every single person.
Oh, okay. See now, we're getting somewhere, because what he just said, a lot of people have been thinking, right? But don't know how to say it without getting labeled. You know, that thing is gonna get put on your forehead. You start noticing that every issue somehow circles back to the same script. Doesn't matter if it's foreign policy, social issues, something happening overseas. Somehow it always gets wrapped in your identity like you signed up for it. Like you had a choice. Like you don't get to choose what matters to you. Well, you know, when I said don't have a choice, I mean just in terms of picking who you were. But now, you know, besides that, they act like you can't choose what matters to you. I want to make sure I clarify that. It's already been prepackaged. And if you don't go along with it, now you're the problem. Now you're confused. Now you don't understand your own struggle. It's not empowerment, man. That's assignment. And people are starting to reject it in real time. And think I'm playing. Hold on, let me get this thing pushed back in real time. Yeah, which leads us to this.
Look, the Democrats opened the border wide open because they saw that they were losing votes after the last census. And they know that the way that Congress seats are relegated is based on total population. They wanted those illegal immigrants here so they could have voting power. It's like if I woke up in the middle of the night and there was a robber downstairs trying to steal my TV, I'm not going to go downstairs and make him a sandwich. Like, I'm going to, one, you're probably going to get the end of the barrel of my 12-gauge shotgun. But why would I ever give amnesty to that criminal that entered? So any individual that came to our country illegally, there's no amnesty for you. You broke the law coming here. You are a criminal, illegal alien. You are going to be caught. You are going to be deported, and you're going to be put to the back of the line if you ever try to come to America again. Do it the right way. Come to a port of entry, apply for entry, show that you are a qualified individual, that we can benefit from you coming here. And federal law should simply say that you are not entitled to any type of public subsidies. You're not entitled to welfare. You're not entitled to free housing. You need to have family members or supporters here that are going to support you, jobs available. And you need to have some skill that we are actually going to benefit from. We do not need to be the welfare state for the rest of the world. We fought hard for our freedoms, and we should not be giving it up to the woke leftists that want to allow for the open borders. Now we finally have a secure border. I pray to God that that stays the same. But we need to have immigration enforcement and make sure we get these individuals in the court, get them their final deportation order, get them on a plane back to their country, and they can go fix their country for themselves like we fought a civil war to do here. Like, we are going to be the beneficiaries of the American dream, not foreigners that come here illegally.
That analogy right there, simple, but it hits for a reason. Because it cuts through all the polished talking points, right? You don't need a degree to understand fairness. You don't need a think tank to recognize when something just doesn't make sense. And that's the part that's been underestimated for so long, for a long time. People were expected to just go along with it. Open borders, compassion. You question it, then you're obviously the problem, right? Meanwhile, regular people are looking at this like, hey, yo, how has this been benefiting us? What's the benefit in this? I don't see it. Not in theory, not in speech, but in real life. And once people, once that question starts getting asked more and more, you already know it's hard to shut it down. But let's go ahead and take this thing a step further.
I have to admit, there are some of you who are so hypocritical, you have forgotten to take the Ukrainian flag out of your bio when criticizing Trump supporters who support President Trump for blowing up Iran. Now, I remember in 2022, when Russia, February of 2022, matter of fact, when Russia was building up on the Ukrainian border, and y'all people was so, Joe Biden got to do something. He sent in the black woman, Kamala Harris. No, she really ain't black, but she sent in Kamala Harris. And Kamala Harris said, don't. What happened? Oh, Russia invaded. And what was the reason Russia said they were invaded? Because NATO was expanding too far east. Russia said Ukraine had chemicals and biological warfare centers, which was confirmed when Marco Rubio asked that woman about it, and when she started talking, Marco said, we need to go behind the scenes and talk about that. You forgot about that? But you got Ukraine in your profile picture. What we gonna do? I bet you if Russia push more in, Trump ain't gonna defend Article 5 of NATO and help Ukraine, help NATO. Because NATO is allies, right? Oh, okay. What is Israel? Is Israel an ally? So you was gung-ho for Biden helping Ukraine, and they actually have for TikTok Nazis, but somehow him fighting to ensure Iran don't have a nuke so they can blow us up. You got a problem? You got a problem with us defending our ally, Israel? You seriously? You even got the Ukraine flag in your bio, but you coming to my page telling me how much I need to go over there and fight for Israel. Well, when Clinton was my president and I was in the army, I would have. Difference between a Democrat veteran and a Republican veteran. Y'all don't support the nation unless your person in office. We may disagree with the government, but a conservative still flies the American flag regardless of who's in office. Maybe y'all need to learn a thing or two.
Now, that's the kind of consistency check people do not like. Because it forces you to remember what you said last year. You were all in flags, hashtags, speeches, and full support. Now, suddenly, same type of situation, different leadership, and the energy completely flipped. So, what changed? The policy or the person in charge? Because if your position only changes depending on who's doing it, that's not principles. That's preference. And people are catching that in real time. And not because someone told them to. Because it's just like blatantly obvious. Which brings us to something else that's been floating around.
All of you people say Donald Trump's a racist and that you can't stand him and that you hate him, that you hope he die and go to hell. You're hoping his children die and go to hell. You hope he get assassinated. The man stands up and tells the world 14th Amendment was designed. And then you got those out there saying, Donald Trump, get the 14th Amendment birthright citizenship thing pulled out. He gonna deport all the black people. Dumbass, you were born here. Your mama was born here. Your daddy was born here. Your great-grandparents were born here. Your great-great-grandparents were born here. Your great-great-great-great-great-great-great-great-grandparents was born here. You can't get kicked out, man. People that say that are some of the stupidest people in the history of the world. And I thought that all you types wanted to go back to Africa anyway. I saw Donald Trump in February. I forgot to ask him to put in that bill for everybody that want to go back to Africa to give them a one-way ticket. Let's see if I can get to him. See how many of y'all signed up for that one. Send y'all back to the Congo. Let y'all get involved in that civil war in the Sudan. See how you like that. Send you back to South Africa to deal with the Zulus. See how y'all get along with them jokers. See how many of y'all would take Donald Trump on that deal. Now you crying, he get the birthright citizenship back, he gonna kick us all out the country. I don't know, man. You come, you're going. You come, you're going. You come, you want to be an American, you don't want to be an American. You know, let me know if he gave. Who the hell else is going to allow you to sit in their country and they're going to give you money, sit on the front porch, drink 40s all day long? I'm talking about you poor, and everybody, 80% of the black community got an obesity problem.
Damn.
How can you be poor and fat at the same time? Looking at you can't tell you missing any meals. That's for sure.
Damn. Excuse me, but that right there is what happens when fear gets used as a tool. You tell people something extreme enough, long enough, eventually it sticks. Even if it doesn't make sense. Even if it doesn't line up with basic facts. Because fear doesn't need logic to spread. It just needs repetition. But once people start slowing down and actually thinking through it, a lot of the noise starts falling apart on its own. And when that happens, the next move is always the same, actually. Distract, redirect, replace the conversation, which leads us to this final piece.
During the 1940s and 1960s, it was actually called the golden age for the middle class black Americans. We were married at about an 85% rate. We were bringing our children into the world into two-parent households at about 82 to 83%. Black men were in the workforce at about 83%. We doubled our home ownership. Without government, we lowered our poverty rate from 87 to lower than 47%. We lowered our literacy rates to lower than 4%. We started expanding our HBCUs and building more institutions such as black-owned banks. We started churning out more black professionals such as doctors, lawyers, engineers, teachers. With earnings, more black men started entering manufacturing and construction by joining the unions. The money was so good that this was the only time in U.S. history that the earnings gap between black and white men was actually closing, outpacing the success of white America. Boom! Democrats take over, liberals take over. Lyndon B. Johnson inserts the Great Society as well as the War on Poverty. They inserted something called the Urban Renewal Project, which was later known as the Urban Negro Removal Project. They inserted eminent domain. Eminent domain, if you're not familiar with it, is pretty much the government being able to take your land if they're going to use it for the public. They wanted to get rid of the slums and the eyesores of the country. And of course, they said that this was the black areas. And the areas that they couldn't bulldoze, they just built freeways and interstates right over them. The Vietnam conflict was going on, and though black men made up about 7% of the population, well, they made up about 25% of the frontline soldiers in the war. Lyndon B. Johnson accelerated the offshoring of those manufacturing companies, the companies that these black men depended on, the same companies that allowed these men to take care of humongous families. When they came back, those companies were gone. They were now coming back to unemployment. And with unemployment, we also have to remember this is when the narcotics started to enter our communities. So now you have strung out men, you have unemployed men. With the expansion of welfare was such thing called the marriage clause, which prohibited the man from being in the household if the woman was going to be able to get benefits. So you Democrats, please tell me, what has this progress in liberalism done? Please let me know. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. Thank you for listening. Hope you guys have a great weekend.
Now, whether you agree with every point or not, that's not even the main point here, right? The point is, people are going back and re-examining things they were told not to question. History, policy, outcomes, not just what's sounding good, but what actually happened after. Because it's one thing to promise help. It's another thing to look up years later and ask, did this actually make things better? And I'm telling you, that's what things get real shaky for certain narratives, real uncomfortable. Not because people are angry, but because they're thinking. Now, when you step back and look at everything you just watched, obviously it's not just scrabble-dabble. It's all connected. It's people from different angles saying the same thing in different ways. Some are showing results, some are questioning motives, some are calling out contradictions, but it all points to one thing. People aren't waiting to be told what to believe anymore. They're comparing. They're remembering. They're connecting things on their own. And once that starts happening, you don't need to convince people of anything. I tell y'all this every video at this point because you start seeing it for yourselves. So, if you made it to the end of this video, I want you to put, I remember. Yes. I want you to put that in the comment section. Y'all be safe. Go check on somebody today. You can quite literally be saving their life. Peace.